In the latest update from the SOD TV's Warcraft Logs leaderboards, the spotlight remains firmly on the Shaman spec tank player Nightsong. Representing the Summers Guild on the Living Flame EU server, Nightsong has once again claimed the coveted one spot, marking an impressive 19th time at the top. However, the competition remains fierce with other top players vying for the lead. Hunter melee player Tree Ranger is hot on Nightsong's heels, having also secured the top spot 19 times. Close behind is Warlock tank player Enhancement, who has claimed the one position 18 times. Not far off, we have Druid Guardian player NMX and Mage Frost player Watchtome, both of whom have held the top rank 15 times. In the balanced Druid category, Innate from the guild Humbertism has surged to the top with a DPS of 1110.0, marking a significant increase from yesterday's 1051.2. Fuel from Male Models holds steady at second place with a DPS of 1079.8, a position he's maintained for over a week now. Sinti from Blessed X rounds out the top 3 with a DPS of 1069.3. The remaining top 10 for today, in no particular order, are Perrin, Hotmess, Honeycow, Blazarus, Centripetal, Adriu, and OK Bloomer. In the Feral Druid category, Parse Police from the guild Silver Saga continues has held the top spot for over a week now, with a consistent DPS of 1466.8. BGTD from B Tribe follows closely behind in second place, boasting a DPS of 1453.6. Rounding out the top 3 is Lawsuit, also from Silver Saga continues, with a DPS of 1436.2. Let's also acknowledge the remaining top 10 players who continue to challenge the leaders Swagnuts, NDF, Meli Varus, Cyclonogist, Giny, and Africantiger. In the Guardian Druid category, the top 3 players have shown exceptional performance. Pumpex from the guild HUSH has taken the lead today with a DPS of 867.1, followed by NMX from the guild Chinese Textile Machine, maintaining a steady DPS of 848.2. NMX has held this position for over a week, demonstrating consistent prowess. The third spot is held by Kadadi from the guild B Tribe with a DPS of 832.6. Notable mentions go to the remaining top 10 players Kildra Puli, Pseudoaptit, Ankler, Minetsis, Vistalo, Sayaju, and Golio. In the Melee Hunter category, Tree Ranger from the guild Cartel continues to dominate with a DPS of 1556.9, holding this top position for over a week now. Close on his heels is Olgi from the guild Den Dansky Medtoad, boasting a DPS of 1514.9, and Johnnysons from the guild Oxygen, who rounds out the top 3 with a DPS of 1507.9. The remaining top 10 melee hunters, who are also worth mentioning for their impressive performances, include Rezorth, Yanglachichi, Zatara, Cornshot, Minyaros, Wafflefreeze, and Tenoki. In the ranged hunter category, Isoldout continues to dominate with a DPS of 1432.2, maintaining the top spot for over a week now. Floorberries hold steady in second place with a DPS of 1407.5. A new face in the top 3 today is Orlandomer, who has surged to third place with a DPS of 1372.1. Notable mentions go to Tubalumpkin, Avix, Makes, Tribalis, Fragmaster, Bumrush, and Mihurith, who round out the rest of today's top 10. In the Arcane Mage category, Musakas from the guild I'm Not Sure has held the top spot for over a week, consistently delivering a DPS of 726.1. Today, Burnett from the guild New Game Plus has surged to second place with a DPS of 724.6, closely followed by Dilpu with a DPS of 719.0. Notable mentions go to yesterday's top performers Digidoo and Cuties, who have slipped to the 5th and 6th positions respectively. Rounding out the top 10 are Moonfox, Minervamage, Telon, Muju, and ENCMage. In the Fire Mage category, Chef from the guild Apophysis holds the top spot for the second day in a row with a DPS of 1196.2, maintaining his position from yesterday. Close behind is Delano from the guild Parse, also holding steady from yesterday with a DPS of 1195.3. The third spot is claimed by QIA Chiai Jujiayi from the guild Yuan QI, with a DPS of 1177.8, maintaining his position as well. The remaining top 10 players, showcasing a wide range of talent, are Meloish, Tumu Charmer, Corbs, Duchanem, Giliz, Magisula, and Pdim. In the Frost Mage category, Watchtone continues to dominate the leaderboard, maintaining the top spot with a DPS of 1039.4, a position held for over a week now. Close behind, we have Juicy, who has climbed up to the second spot with a DPS of 1033.7, pushing yesterday's second place, Wixard, to the third position with a DPS of 1017.7. Notable achievements include Obi's consistent performance, who despite dropping to the fourth place today, has remained in the top 3 for the past few days. The remaining top 10 players for today, in no particular order, are Clankum, TDMZ, Triepo, Shangmingyu Nizinmei, Lin Shi, and Eriki-san. In the Protection Paladin category, the top 3 players have shown remarkable consistency. Holding the number 1 spot for over a week, Hiermei has maintained a DPS of 1291.7, demonstrating exceptional skill and strategy. Coming in second, Boysuthik has also remained steady with a DPS of 1230.6, while One Punch closely trails in third place with a DPS of 1229.3. The remaining top 10 players, who also deserve recognition for their performance, are Fakyaz, Farvolt, and Ming, Fat, Magni, Duuz, and Kazurk T. In the Retribution Paladin category, Qiyu continues to dominate with a DPS of 1429.4, maintaining the top position for over a week now. Following closely are Milesiris and Peteri, both from the EU, with DPS of 1376.8 and 1372.8 respectively. Milesiris from the guild Pepident has shown consistent performance, while Peteri from Dragonslayers is known for his strategic gameplay. The remaining top 10 players, making their mark in this competitive category, are Elf Chapo, Funky Kong, Tony Doubleegg, Tyrion Poldering, Fidan, Akanos, and Smacked. In the Shadow Priest category, the top spot has been consistently held by Zhonggu Luzu, maintaining an impressive DPS of 983.9 for the past 2 days. This player's consistent performance is a testament to their skill and dedication. Close behind, Shengdu Di Liangxin has also held their position with a DPS of 977.9. The third spot has seen a change, with Theradrin from Wild Growth making a leap with a DPS of 956.5, replacing yesterday's third-place holder, Waga. The remaining top 10 players for today, in no particular order, are Waga, Shalp, Flayed, Shen Yuan Jian, Smor, Tissania, and Kasupu. In the DPS Rogue category, Enwich from the Guild Link Logs has taken the lead today with an impressive DPS of 1545.5, followed closely by Ajanin from the Guild Cartel, maintaining a consistent DPS of 1520.1, a position he has held for the past week. Iwanel, also from Link Logs, secures the third spot with a DPS of 1508.6. The remaining top 10 players, showcasing their prowess in the game, are Body Snatcher, Ju Shui Dai, Feng Xiao Yu, Lash the Trash, Karina, Jebarium, and Sylve. In the Tank Rogue category, Nerf Assassin from the Guild Nerf Shadow Club continues to hold the top spot, maintaining a DPS of 1096.4 for over a week now. Nova follows closely behind with a DPS of 1062.4, and Zombie rounds out the top 3 with a DPS of 1058.7. These players have shown consistent performance and have set the bar high in the Tank Rogue category. The remaining top 10 players, who are also making their mark, include Sketcher, Ochenta, Wool, Lesrance, Katu, Sion, and Twisted Step. In the Elemental Shaman category, Relix from the Guild Ego continues to hold the top spot for the second day running with a DPS of 1261.4, demonstrating consistent high performance. Breadgloves from the Guild Male Models is not far behind, maintaining the second position with a DPS of 1235.8. The third spot has seen a change, with Roxaron making a notable entry with a DPS of 1196.1. The remaining top 10 players, who are also worth mentioning for their impressive stats, are Mortitide, Hexmither, Rumbles, Bangog Dongsum Jumeog, Gag, Thilly, and Bruce Wayne. In the Enhancement Shaman category, Brigand from the Guild Hooligans has taken the lead with an impressive DPS of 1608.4. NA, who has held the top spot for over a week, is now in second place with a DPS of 1596.9. Fake Band from Male Models maintains their position in the top 3 with a DPS of 1566.4. Notable mentions for the remaining top 10 players are Schnaps, Ayapitshim, Easy, Mahatu, Hextazi, Bosseter, and Zobe. In the Tank Shaman category, Nightsong from the Guild Summers has held the top spot for over a week with a consistent DPS of 1147.5, showcasing remarkable consistency and skill. Rolpi from the Guild Consortium has surged into the second spot today with a DPS of 1131.0, pushing Ewo from the Guild Trash, who has a DPS of 1123.4, into the third position. Notable mentions for the remaining top 10 players are Darsipikup, Vistalo, Bjorgen, Shamsky, Glitex, Rack, and Walks. In the DPS Warlock category, Taco from the Guild Angles continues to hold the top spot with a DPS of 1203.6, a position he has maintained for over a week. Close on his heels is Kias from the Dragonslayers Guild, boasting a DPS of 1201.7. Rounding out the top 3 is Firamatic from the Connect Guild, who has made a notable leap with a DPS of 1180.2. The rest of the top 10, in no particular order, are Wayne Warlock, Amayo, Pantslock, Strawberry, Demons, Benzalalak, and Zhangwu Dong. In the Tank Warlock category, Open Coil from the Guild Connect has surged to the top with a DPS of 1100.1, dethroning Enigmes X, who held the number 1 spot for over a week with a consistent DPS of 1045.0. Lobster, representing Mudhut Elite, maintains a steady third place with a DPS of 1040.2. Notable shifts in the leaderboard include John Randomdo, Dinosaur, TikToxic, GigaPro Max, Peak, Barot, and Maldenson. In the Fury Warrior category, Sopato from the Guild Ego continues to dominate with a DPS of 1801.5, maintaining the top position for over a week now. Atasmos from the Guild Chinese Textile Machine follows closely with a DPS of 1700.7, while Fudgy from the Guild Get Carried enters the top 3 today with a DPS of 1673.1. Notable mentions from the remaining top 10 include Mogpio, Subtomyov, Simonov, Simon Yu, GIQIGA, Esoterics, Jespiupiu. In the Protection Warrior category, Suffer X from the Guild Exhausted continues to dominate, maintaining the top spot for over a week with an impressive DPS of 1453.2. Not far behind is Agony, who's been consistently delivering a DPS of 1440.4, securing the second place. The third spot is held by Bottle from the Guild Lethal, with a DPS of 1436.3. The remaining top 10 warriors, who are also worth mentioning for their exceptional skills, are Ogiez, Bitang, Seedheart, Threat, Kabir, Duo Luo Saju, and Lan Wu Sanxian.